You're at the checkout. It's been a long week, and all of a sudden you see this glorious candle that's only $19.99 and it smells of nostalgia and childhood, so you just buy it. You barely even think, you just tap. You walk out of the store thinking, it's only £20, I deserve a little treat, it's been a hard week. Flash forward to the end of the month, your bank balance looks really sad and your savings haven't been able to go anywhere. Despite working full time, you feel stuck. This is the £20 trap. It's not about candles, it's about mindset, habits, and these tiny little purchases that you do that are secretly keeping you broke. So number one is the mental loophole. We treat these small amounts as insignificant and they don't register as real money when we spend them. It's only £20 becomes a bit of a permission slip to allow yourself to buy these small purchases multiple times in the month. But the real math of it is £20 a week. If you do that every week for the rest of the year, that's over £1,040. So something that seemed insignificant and small really builds up over time. And let's say, for example, when you break down your 9-to-5 income, and let's say you earn £20 for every hour. So you've had to work an hour to pay for something like a candle that may just be building up clutter in your room. And what if you redirected all of these little £20 spends in the year to something beneficial like your savings? You could have over £1,000 in your savings or something to tackle debt. Or maybe even get onto the investing train because you've been delaying it for so long because you had no money. Even if you cut down on these two £20 purchases every week, that's over £2,000 that you could put into your investments and help your future self grow. Number two is these things hide in plain sight. So it's a lifestyle creep, but it's disguised so that ways you don't even see it. This one's a bit of a killer. For example, you upgrade your coffee order in Starbucks. So instead of getting a plain black coffee, you now get a latte with an extra shot of coffee in it. Or the next time you go to Chipotle, you add on the guacamole as an extra, which is like an extra £2 or £3. Or the next time you pass Target or Boots or Superdrug, you just nip in for one more thing. I just need a lip balm, I just need an extra bit of skincare. It can also happen with these microtransactions that we sign up to. Things like subscriptions, like a Netflix subscription. It seems pretty straightforward because it's under a tenner and we feel in our mind we can afford a tenner. What are we doing all this work for, if we can't afford that? But it's not just £10. It's all the other subscriptions you've also signed up for and all of the other little treats you give yourself during the week. These microtransactions really build up over time. So even if you have to pay an extra £2 to park in this part of the city every hour, you're like £2 is fine. But what you don't realize is that you've stayed in that parking space for 5 hours, so then that's a tenner, and you do that every week of your life. Same with storage fees on your phone. This happened to me, okay? I used to have an iPhone about 5 years ago, but I realized recently that I was still paying for storage on an iPhone that I didn't even have. And because it was only $1.99, I genuinely was just like, that's too much hassle for me to sort out. And now I feel like, oh my God, I've been paying that every month for the last 5 years and I don't even have that phone anymore. So what you guys need to do tonight, a little bit of a challenge, is go through your banking app tonight and understand what are those regular payments that are sucking your money out of your bank account. They may be really small, but over time they all build up. So if you're not using them, cancel them, of course. And if it's something that you do use, maybe is there a cheaper alternative instead? Or could you borrow a subscription from a friend like Netflix? If you are in a house share, for example, and everyone is Netflix, you all don't need to be paying towards that thing. You can of course share that password if you're in the one household. There can also be an emotional element linked to these £20 purchases. It could be something like you want to get your life together. So you spend £10 on a planner, you spend £10 on some new cute gel pens, you buy some more stationery for your desk to feel more productive, and then all of a sudden all these little purchases have added up to over £100. And you may not even be more productive, it may just be an aesthetic thing that you're after. If you use them, fair play, and if it's helped you be productive, fair play. But if you're not using them and you feel like if you purchase this you will become productive, those two don't equate to the same thing, okay? You have to put that energy in first, and if you feel like these items are a genuine need or that you just want them to be cute, that's cool too, If you got the budget to pay for them, grand. But if you don't and they're not being used, then that's a problem. Number 3, it delays the life that you want. So that £20 that you spend on a candle could have been used elsewhere in a better way. Like it could have been a train ticket to see a friend you haven't seen in ages. Or it could have been a deposit for a class that you've been eyeing for a long time and that you wanted to develop yourself further. Now, what is a better use of your money? More candles and more clutter every week, or to invest for your future self to either buy a home or a deposit for a house, or even just to live a nicer life and have more cash. That dream holiday, that emergency fund, that investing for your future, it always seems so far away and undoable. But if you step back and stop spending so much money on these little purchases regularly, it doesn't seem like such a dream anymore. You can actually start to achieve these things instead. Number 4, how to break the habit without feeling miserable. So what you can do is give your £20 a job. And a way to do this is, of course, set a budget. That sounds boring and it may sound complex, but it really isn't. I have a budget template down below in the description here, which I created for you guys, and it creates colourful charts. It's super easy to put in your monthly income and to divvy up everything. If you're not sure how to use it, reach out and I can do one specifically for you. My email address is also down below if you need help on it. But if you set up jobs for each bit of your money, like let's say that £20 is automatically going into another account, and let's say it's an emergency fund, but if your emergency fund is fully up to date, cool. And it doesn't have to be boring stuff, it can be fun stuff too. If you want to go to South America for the next month, right, you of course need money to fund that trip. So you can also instead stop buying so many candles, cut back on subscriptions you don't even use, and start to put those little bits of £20 into, let's say, your South America fund. How cool. So everyone's budget has a wants category, so of course you're allowed to have stuff that you want, but you have to make sure, is it something that's actually going to benefit your life, or is it just causing more clutter and chaos in your home? And let's say your fund money is £100 in the month. Once you've spent all that £100, you can't and shouldn't spend any more of your budget on fun stuff. Of course, if you happen to get more money with little side gigs like walking dogs, that's different. Of course, I would always say to try and save a chunk of extra income that comes in, but your fun pot, to use that money in a way that is more intentional for your life and can actually give you a boost of energy rather than making you feel so guilty that you bought another candle. It's important to find the root. Why do you keep doing these little treats for yourself every week or every other week? You know, what's the main reason there? Is it pure boredom and that's why you keep buying stuff to make you feel better? Or is it just repetition? You know, it's just a habit that every time I pass a Boots, I go in and get something for myself. You know, what is the main thing there that's driving that? Because I guarantee you, if you figure out that core feeling and to try and solve that out, you will of course save a lot more money in the long term and of course have less clutter. It's only £20 is the biggest and most expensive lie that we tell ourselves. But the good news is you don't have to be an absolute cheapskate or a really strict minimalist to get by. You can just give that £20 a job and make it work for you rather than just wasting it on stuff you don't need. Drop your most ridiculous £20 purchase below. I'm so excited to hear everyone's because I know we all do this. For myself, it has to be vases. I don't know why, but I probably have about 20 vases and a lot of them are just sitting in the cupboard in my kitchen. I've of course cut back on that now because I'm like, this is ridiculous. I think this video here will really help you on your wealth and minimalist journey, guys. Thanks so much for all the support you guys have been giving me. I really appreciate it. I'm still doing 2 videos a week, so if you have any video ideas, feel free to let me know and I'll give you a shout out. I read all of the comments every time someone posts, so thanks again for the support. But I'll see you soon, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye.